Hello everybody and welcome to my own approach on Let's Play Duel Links, unlocking all the characters with minimal effort and minimal resources. So today, after all the preparations are done, we can finally start unlocking the characters left and right. So the first one that I want to go for here in DM is actually my Valentine, since once I have her and can level her up to level 25, I will get a copy of Windstorm of Itaqua, which is actually a pretty good card for me to have if I do not have any other good cards to use, actually. And I don't have any good cards, so I am looking forward to using Windstorm of Itaqua eventually. But that means I need to unlock Mai first. And there are 3 missions for Mai. We have to win 3 duels in a row. We already did this against standard duelists and whatnot, so that's not an issue. Then we had to beat her with Joey, which I did against her at level 10 at the gate right away. And then we also need to beat Joey at level 20 specifically. And for this one I swapped over to Mokuba that I unlocked at the end of last episode, because once Mokuba wins 5 duels, I can get an alternative style for him, and this already works towards that. So why not use the Duel as one of those 5? Yeah, those guys aren't really that difficult to beat, as you can see here, and there's nothing special about those, especially the DM world characters are quite easy, even at level 30 or maybe level 40. With a few exceptions, of course, like Arcana. He's not fun to go up against when his missions are like win with 1000 or less life points remaining and whatnot, but Arcana is not an issue here. It is actually unlocking Mai. And we finished Joey at level 20 off. And as I said, the win 3 duels in a row thing has already been done. Also, we just won 2 duels in a row, so if you won another duel before or after, you got this. And that means Mai is unlocked. Our first character in this episode, and a few more are actually to follow. But first we want to get Taya now, since Taya also has an alternative style after winning 5 duels, so the sooner I can get Taya the better. Also, Taya's starter deck comes with a copy of Dark Magician Girl, and by summoning Dark Magician Girl a couple of times I will get a copy of a Dark Magician Girl from the Lifetimes card list, and that means 1 more card for me. So good stuff all around. And we also wanted to use 5 spell or trap cards in total, but not just against her here at level 20, but against like standard duelists and in other unlocked duels and whatever. So that was one mission, and obviously we now need to win the duel against her at level 20. The character you use here doesn't really matter, so I chose to go with Mokuba again, so that I have 2 wins for him now. And that means only 3 wins left until I can get the alternative style. So let's unlock Taya here, and then we can go to the next character. And you may notice a trend that I'm going by here, which is basically checking the list off from top to bottom. And the first character that was on the list was Mai, and then Taya, and the next guy is Weevil, so I go for Weevil next. And I will break up this approach later down the line when I actually slap all of the names onto a wheel of names and let it spin for random choices, which is way more fun if you have been unlocking characters for years now, just like me. So what do we have to do with Weevil, or for Weevil's unlocks? We had to actually gain 1000 life points in total, and Aqua Maiden or whatever in Rebecca's starter deck does this, because when you have her on the field you get 800 life points during each of your standby phases, so that's pretty simple. Also you could use cards like red medicine, blue medicine, whatever, so I don't think it is a problem to get life points. And then we activated a total of 3 spell cards as well, and we have to win against him at level 30, which again Mokuba did for us. And that is all we need to do to unlock our next character here, which is of course Weevil. I don't have a strong opinion on Weevil when it comes to Duel Links. I mean, yeah, he's there, and if you want to play an insect deck, you can with him or with any other character basically. But I want to have him, and I got him. So now we switch to DSOD world and want to unlock Mokuba in DSOD world because he was a world spawn. And that is actually not quite bad. Although he is a level 30 spawn, that meant I had to be a little careful here, because the mission that I'm going for is that I get a no damage win against him with DSOD Seto. And yeah, level 30, not my preferred way of doing things. However, when he is free and doesn't cost me any gate keys, I might as well give it a try. What's the worst thing that could happen is that I blow up this mission and have to try again against him at level 10 at the gate. So who cares really? I mean, right? And well, we also got a win with no level 3 or lower monsters against standard duelists, and I don't think I'm using level 3 or lower monsters in this deck either, so getting actually 2 wins, excuse me, actually 2 wins without using level 3 or lower monsters. We already covered that against standard duelists, although you haven't seen it. And then also against standard duelists 3 this time I activated a skill with Seto Kaiba, which was like the starting skill or ultimate dragons or whatever skill I had, I just put it on the deck. Or maybe alternative evolution or whatever. So the only thing that I had left was beating him without taking damage with Seto. And that happened, so I could unlock him. Back to DM world now, because now I want to go for Rex Raptor, who is finally unlockable for me, and I am finally going for him. So again, I'm using Mokuba here. Yeah, you know why? Because of the alternative style, of course. And the main objective here is that we win against him at level 30. What else did we do? We got a total of 2000 points of effect damage in against some standard duelists, and even through like rush duels when I used the spell card Sparks, which is in basically any one of the character starter decks, and that accumulated to 2000 points of effect damage eventually, because I cannot do the vessel farm quite yet since I do not have Ishizu unlocked. But we will get that shortly, not in this episode though. And also, what did we need to do? We needed to perform 3 tribute summons, and I did this in rush duels, that's not a problem. So you can even let auto duel take care of that. So the only one left was to beat him at level 30, and we did this, so we can unlock him as well. In the meantime, Mokuba in DM world won 5 duels, and that means we can get the alternative style Adina. And this leaves us to another character that we can actually play as, mainly Taya, and because once we won 5 duels with Taya, we can get an alternative style for her as well. And the first one that I have in mind is the duel against Event Ishizu, because once we win this, we can get the card Obelisk the Tormentor from our Lifetimes card list. And that is one important card for me to have later down the line. And I kept Ishizu around for 2 reasons. Number 1, I didn't actually have good cards to beat her, and it wasn't really use in dueling her before. And number 2, because I could do stuff like work towards 5 wins with Taya or any other character really that has an alternative style or needs to win a certain amount of duels. So using this is quite nice here. And the duel itself, as you saw here, is not really that terrible and not that difficult, which means we won and can actually claim Obelisk the Tormentor from the Lifetimes card list, which is our second Egyptian god card. The third one would be the Winged Dragon of Ra, but for that we need actually access to Yami Merrick, who is a character we can unlock at stage 10 in DM world, and that won't happen until a little later down the line. So with that said, we can now try to unlock Mako Tsunami at the gate by dueling him at level 30 and of course winning, because that is a prerequisite, of course. So previously against standard duelists or against anyone really, I summoned 3 monsters in a single duel, which is actually not a tough task to ask for. It is quite easy in fact, and you can even do this in this duel. And then we used skills 2 times in total against like standard duelists. For example, or I don't know, Battle Chronicle or whatever, It even counts skills you used in different worlds, like Generation of Heroes, if I were to use this against Syrus, which I am going to because of Thunder Giant later down the line. So activating 2 skills is not really a big deal. Beating him at level 30 is no big deal either. So that clears all of his missions and gives us another one of the hidden characters in the DM world. There are 6 now, by the way, the usual 5, and then of course Serenity, who was added last year, which, if you're watching in 2026, it was in 2025. If you're watching at some later point in time, it was still 2025 and no longer last year, I suppose. Anyways, with that we swap back to DSOD world, because Sera had been spawning in at level 10, which meant I could go for all of her missions. The missions are that we beat her with Blue Eyes White Dragon specifically, that we get a comeback victory, so our life points are lower than hers at the beginning of the final turn of the duel. We summon 2 level 7 or higher monsters in a single duel against her. We don't use any level 3 or lower monsters against her, and we win the duel with light monsters only. So I did what any sane person would do and checked my box and my inventory for light monsters that I could play, and I didn't really find that many, but some of them had to be Blue Eyes, so that is fine and dandy. And maybe I put some more spell or trap cards into the deck, but it is fine. You don't need a special skill like Battle Chronicle, which allows you to summon them without tributing for them. It is okay. It's just easy and simple. We just saw a Pendulum monster that I of course got from the Odd Eyes Challenger structure deck, told you it was a good investment. So, this previously, or before they did the stuff with the alternative world in DM world style in 2025, was the case like you had to do this all the same missions against Sera at level 30 specifically, and they changed that, so that's quite nice and way easier and way more chill, I guess. Yeah, basically the same as easy. I don't know what's wrong with me, man, but I am actually dragging out the duel a little to cover all of the stuff that I need to cover so that I can finally unlock Sera eventually. And don't you worry, I am going to show you this light-only deck that I used to unlock Sera after the duel. Not that it's like that special or whatever, but as I was saying, and I have been saying a lot of times, I am not spending gems or card tickets if I don't have to on any of these resources, so I can actually do all of this and all of these missions and unlock Sera with just the cards I got from level ups, maybe a drop reward like Miller, and starter decks. So quite simple, quite easy, and quite manageable. Let me give you a little bit of spoilers for the rest of this episode, which is I'm trying to go for the Thunder Giant summon, and I don't have a copy of Elemental Hero Sparkman, which is a level 4 light monster with 1600 attack points, so I am going to use a rare card ticket on Sparkman for the mission against Syrus. And I could have done it before this duel so that I have one more beat stick to use in this deck. However, I don't think it would have been necessary to begin with, but it's just one thing I forgot to consider, and you might learn from my mistake, if it is a mistake. And yeah, Sparkman itself is quite an okay card that we can use in this sense, because it's light and it is not level 3 or lower. So that's good stuff. We also have like this 1900 attack point dragon monster from the Stardust Nexus starter deck, structure deck, and that would work too. So yeah, if you're doing it all the way I did it, you have a lot of light monsters that you can put in. And those are the ones that I have, and some spell and trap cards, and I don't need an extra deck, because I don't summon from the extra deck, and I don't even have a way to summon unless it's stuff like Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, but that is not a light monster, it would be a dark, and therefore you would blow the mission. So here we have the Paradox Brothers, and we are dueling them with Jaden specifically for one of the Syrus unlock missions, which is that Jaden wins against Paradox Brothers. Previously it was the case that Jaden had to get a level 30 win against them, and it had to be a comeback win, so quite difficult. Here we just win quickly within like 5 turns or less, and if you win in 5 turns or less, you get a quick victory, and a quick victory is one of the unlock missions for Paradox Brothers. So once I return to the M world and need to unlock these guys, I can actually do it quite easily, since one of the missions is already ticked off. And that is good stuff for later down the line. Now we can go into the card tickets, because I want to spend one rare card ticket on a copy of Elemental Hero Sparkman, as I said before. And Sparkman is needed for the Thunder Giant summon, unless you would want to use as fusion substitute, but I don't feel like using that. Instead, I'm going to hard summon Thunder Giant with, of course, Clayman and Sparkman. Clayman was a level 23 reward from leveling up Jaden, and now I'm going for a skill for Jaden, which is Generation of Heroes, that you can get from the card trader by exchanging for some gold and maybe items. And with this skill, a lot of Elemental Hero Fusion monsters are added to your extra deck, and one of them is, of course, Elemental Hero Thunder Giant, which means I can actually summon this guy without having it in my possession. So I can save a super rare ticket by using a rare ticket on Sparkman, basically, and some smaller resources to get the skill. You just saw the deck, and that means we can hop on into it. And the reason I'm going for it now is that Syrus spawned in GX World at level 10, so this is a prime opportunity. And before, you had to do this against him at level 30. So I take level 10 when I can get it, especially if it is a free duel that doesn't cost me any gate keys, because gate keys are a very important resource for us very much in the beginning here. And we do not want to waste them if we can help it. Although level 10 opponents do not really cost a lot of keys, but it is what it is, and I always have fun when I can get characters or can clear character unlock missions without actually having to use gate keys. This is just premium. Also, if I somehow mess up a character unlock mission, it doesn't annoy me as much if that was a world spawn, and if I had used gate keys, it would annoy me a little more. So, what do we need to do here? We just need to summon Elemental Hero Thunder Giant and win. This is going to take a while, since I'm not going to get my guys until a little later, but Elemental Hero Stratos can search me my guys, and that is good stuff. Also, I have Elemental Hero Blazeman that was in the Heroes starter deck or structure deck from the friend code campaign, which on summon can search me Polymerization. So all three of the cards that I need, Sparkman, Clayman and Polymerization, are in fact searchable. However, I have a full field now and cannot summon Blazeman if I draw into it. But what do I do? Oh no, maybe I have a link monster that I can summon and clear up my main monster zones that way, and which is exactly what I will do in just a few seconds. So, besides that, we already got 3 spell card activations against a standard duelist before that, and we summoned 3 machine type monsters against other opponents like standard duelists. Gaia Saber the Lightning Shadow, my link monster that I have on the field by the way, is a machine monster. So by summoning this guy 3 times I can cover that mission easily. Previously you had to win like 3 duels with machine type monsters only, and they changed this as well. So all that was left was summoning Elemental Hero Thunder Giant and win against Syrus as Jaden, which we just did. And that means we can unlock Syrus. And while this is going on, I can recap on the stuff that we did. We unlocked Mai, DM Taya, Weevil, DSOD Mokuba, Rex Raptor, Dear Mokuba's alternative style, Adina. We got Obelisk, then we unlocked Mako, Sera, Elemental Hero Sparkman was obtained, and we unlocked Syrus. With that said, we are done here. I am going to leave you with an impression of the deck that I was using, which isn't that great, but it may help you in your attempt. Thank you so much for watching.